Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Big T today. Frank Vespi here from the Racing Biz, racingbiz.com, joined by track announcer, chairman and CEO of Dogfigs Inc., Dave Rodman. Dave, I really like our intro music. I feel like we ought to go on tour. What do you say?
Yeah, a little maybe Rat can open up for us. Rat.
Right. I love it. I love
That's
it.
R-A-T-T.
Yes,
Yeah.
round and round.
Yeah.
And now I'm hidden by the numbers. Let's move over here a little bit.
Okay.
We're this is what they call stumbling from the gate, but maybe now we're starting to roll here. Dave, we got a lot going on here at the Big T, second day of our 7-day stand in Timonium. Today is College Day at the races.
Yeah.
We are also going to be welcoming in the equestrian group. Thank you to them for coming out to the races. And we got a big stakes race coming up. It's the $75,000 Timonium Distaff.
Right. A few scratches out of there, but we're looking forward to the rematch of Response Time and Princess Kokogen. Malibu Beauty, always tough when she's right. Deco Strong, seems like she dances every dance. And Kenny McPeak with an Irish mare in here, Sombre Jus, I think.
Très Français.
Yeah,
This is, I mean, the scratches, self-isolation in particular is one you wish had stayed in just for the overall quality of the race. Nevertheless, I think this is good a race as we've seen in Timonium in a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, just the fact that Response Time, Princess Kokogen meet, and you can get multiple stakes sort of like Malibu Beauty in here as well at Timonium on a Saturday afternoon. And Yari's going to be bugling him in the post. Yari Villanueva, a live bugler today.
Can't beat that.
Right. And he's back today as well. Maybe you can go down to the winner's circle and chat with Yari and play a tune for you maybe.
That's it, when Irish eyes are smiling. Huh?
There you go. Or maybe something by Rat. Anyway.
Yari, do you know Round and Round?
The College Day, we're giving away scholarships, $1,000 scholarships, and I can see people already signing up for the College Day at the races, and the scholarship giveaway always brings out a big crowd, and maybe some of them out to the races too for the first time.
Yes, and we welcome them here and hope they have a great time. It's a great game, and maybe take a flyer on a horse or two. Maybe Dave and I, maybe the Dogfigs will point you the way to a winner.
I hope so, because they call me Mr. Pitiful, like Otis Redding said. As far as you had a positive ROI yesterday.
I had a positive ROI, so I'm actually retired now. I'm out of here. I'll see you later.
But, the Dogfigs they've been tweaked for Timonium today for the bull ring.
Okay, perfect. That's what we want to hear, that they are very specific to our purposes. All right, race 1 is 25,000, never win 2 claimer, going a mile and a 16th, 3 turns here around the Timonium bull ring. And Dave, you and I are in a little bit different places.
Yeah, well, probably I can see why. Langley Avenue, at first I'm going, turf horse, but not so. That's why I picked On Top. His first race at Laurel, he chased a good pace of 22 for 46 and 3 on the dirt track. He was 4-5 in there in a race won by Good Afternoon Oscar. And he's been a sharp claim for Daniel McKenzie of Small Barn. They reach in the claim box once in a while and get a few gems here and there. I know it's not a turf race. We're at the Big T, but this horse has some dirt form. He went to Admit Nothing, who I can see, indeed, has been off since June, a little bit concerning, but does drop.
Yeah, I don't love the, obviously, having been away since June. That's my one concern there. The thing I liked about Admit Nothing is this is a move I love that they're doing in terms of where they're putting the horse. The horse won the maiden race. Really, they bumped it up a couple of levels because he goes not only from maiden 30s versus winners, but into Allowance Company. Horse runs a credible race. He finishes third. He's beat 5 lengths. He did not embarrass. He did not embarrass himself against a decent field. Now you're dropping back in the Claiming Company, which is sort of the interim between where the win was and where the third place was. It's a move that I really like to see. So I decided to go with the favorite angle of mine.
And the actual top dog fig from his last race. But again, my main concern is on this bull ring track, he doesn't have a lot of early speed. So That was my main issue with him, more than really the time away. I kind of put a long shot in here when I mentioned is My Mamba. He's been a recent gelding this year only in May of 2023. So you look at his form prior to that, maybe just look at his last 4 races. One of them was on the turf, and he's run okay against some decent company, particularly a sprint over at Laurel back in May and a non-winners of 2 against Amity Road. Kept trying, the short comment there. So he's a recent gelding here at a mile and a 16th. Could be kind of live at a price.
No, that's a good pickup there on the recent gelding and sort of improved form since then. So Dave going 2-1-3-4. I'm 4-2-6-5. Top dog fig, however, is the 4, says Dave Rodman.
Well, and you have him on top, and he's probably a winner.
I intuitively know where the dog figs point.
All right,
race 2, 6.5 furlongs, maiden 25,000. First of a bevy of 2-year-old maiden claiming events today here at the Big T. Gonna scratch the 1A Derby Ness, part of an entry for trainer Jamie Ness. And once again, different spots, Dave Rodman.
Yeah, Christopher's Heart, your top pick. Tell me a little bit about him. Anthony Ferrier in here with Christopher's Heart.
So this horse has been running against state-bred, West Virginia breds. Company's not necessarily super, but that race 2 back was a pretty good group of horses. The top 5 all finished 1, 2, 3 in their next start. The figures are there. Look, these are maiden claiming 2-year-olds. Everybody's got holes you can shoot in them. I think those couple efforts are not bad.
I'm going with some first-time starters in here. 6 Connectamundo, a son of Connect. The Dam turned to last was 4 of 11 lifetime. 1 races at Arlington Park, at Hawthorne. So quite a nice mare. First-time starter for Hugh McMahon with a positive ROI with first-time starters in here. I like the breeding top and bottom. Connect's been firing with some firsters, and the 1 is Return Fire, a Maryland-bred son of Frisian Fire out of Indian Beauty. 2 for 4 lifetime, and a pretty precocious mare. 1 first out in her career and maiden special weight, putting up a decent figure as well. So yeah, Christopher's Heart has some racing experience, but there's some decent pedigrees on the 6 and the 1 to fire first time out.
Yeah, no, there's other ways you can go for sure. We both also used the 3 here in the dance for Jerry Robb. He won a couple yesterday. They've come loaded for Bear this meet. I think he entered 16 in these 3 days, and he told me he had probably tried to enter about 10 more. So he's got a lot of horses pointed here, and he's got his go-to rider, Xavier Perez, in the irons for a Son of Imagining. So that's another angle to look at there. This horse has been working up at Delaware Park. Anything else on the second, Mr. Rodman?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, Praline pops bottles. 1 start at Parks. Got a little play in that race at 5-1 in a 7-horse field, and I believe a winner out of that race as well. 3rd place finisher came back out of there, which gives you hope that the race might be alive. And going from 4.5 to 6.5, he obviously wasn't fast enough to keep up at a shorter distance, but second time out, why not? It's Rudy Rod.
Rudy Rod shipping into the Big T, so could be worth a flyer there on the 1 horse who, that's the 2 horse. So, all right.
Yeah.
Now I'm all just verklempt here. All right, race 3.
Betting number 2.
Let's go to race 3 here. Maiden 12-5, 2-year-old filly, 6.5 furlongs. And continuing a theme, Dave, we are not in the same location. I go with the 5-horse Victoria's Divine. You prefer Ritz on Broadway for the Robb Barn.
Yeah, first of all, I think this filly started in the maiden special weight company at Delaware, finished 5th. They dropped her in from maiden 25, then another notch down to maiden 20. But I think that maiden 20 race, looking at the fillies in there, was actually tougher than her prior 2 starts for maiden 25. Just my opinion and the assessment of the horses in there. Race was run in an above par dog fig time, and so I'm going to Ritz on Broadway, the Hot Robb Barn for Lucky 7 Stables and those black silks to cross the wire first. All right, Victoria's Divine. I didn't believe it. I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. So
Bootsy's Merlot race, 24-4, 50 and 3/5, 6 furlongs a minute, 16 2/5. One of the slowest actual time races we've seen at Laurel for
it's
6
not a
furlongs
fast
an 8.
race.
I didn't believe the time, went back, and it was correct.
Yeah, so this is what I was looking at with this race. A couple things. One, this is a horse that got bet. This horse was 5-2 when they left the gate. So that usually, it's a frock horse. Those frock horses don't typically get bet, especially not first out of the box like this. That kind of suggests to me that the barn was behind it, which suggests to me they like this horse a little bit. And actually, I felt like she showed a little bit. She broke slow, kind of rushed up. She was kind of right there, just about to the quarter pole, and then packed it in. Ought to be fit her second time out. If the barn still likes her, I think she may be a little bit better than she showed that time. I'm inclined to give her a second chance, particularly what's probably going to be a price 6-1 morning line, plus gets Carlos Lopez up. He had the hat trick yesterday.
All righty. Rent Free is a first-time starter from the Farrier Barn. Palace Malice filly. Drop it right in for 12.5 in debut. Farrier is 19% with first-time starters, 2-year-olds on the dirt in the last 3 years. Not so much effective at Timonium, but then again, I said that yesterday, and this horse won by 12 on that.
Was that the first race yesterday?
Yeah, the 50% class drop angle. It didn't prove to be. But anyway, horse didn't pay much. But Rent Free, again, Farrier with a good record with first-time starting 2-year-olds, 19%. You can't sneeze at that, right? And Arnaldo Boca Chica aboard. We've seen that combination before, Boca Chica Farrier.
Yeah. Boca, won a $250,000 race last night at Charlestown aboard Coastal Mission for Jeff Runco, one of his go-to trainers. This is his other go-to trainer, comes here for this one. I also used Princess Peanut a little bit, who will be the higher-priced Jerry Robb horse. We cashed a ticket, I think, yesterday on the higher-priced Jerry Robb horse in a different race. So,
and Fuzzy Wuzzy, Gino Bello up. He didn't get his birthday win yesterday. Yesterday was his birthday. I had the
happy
call
birthday,
ready to
Gene.
go. Maybe one day late for the birthday win for Alvelo and Fuzzy Wuzzy, another first-time starter by Palace. I think we mentioned this on the show yesterday. Only 7% in the winner's circle. First time out for the Palace offspring. Kind of leads me to believe, and the Palace runner yesterday kind of ran even pace. Will probably win going a bit longer for sure. So I want to maybe see one from Fuzzy Wuzzy.
All right, that's the third race. Dave, on to the fourth. The fourth race is an optional allowance optional claimer. First level allowance are 16,000 claimers, fillies and mares. Going a half-mile dash here.
Stop the presses. We agree.
Good Lord, what is happening here? All right, Dave will take us into it. Winked for Ed Merriman. J.D. Acosta, accomplished bull ring rider in the irons.
Well, a sloppy track at Laurel last November. You might remember this race. She ran lights out, posting a highest buyer figure of life. And maybe it was slop enhanced. I don't know. But she came back to run okay next time out, given time away, and ran into a very sharp Haley B on the return in the spring at Pimlico. And last time out, caught Basarati when she was good on the turf, eventually stakes-winning Basarati, right? So back at half mile, she's been freshened up. Off this type of layoff, Edwin Merriman, 61 to 80 days. Small sample, only 15 horses, but 3 wins. That's good for a nice percentage. Snippety and Awesome Jazz with the other couple of horses, just to name a couple, that have won off of a similar kind of rest. She's fast when she's right. I know she'll be a factor by the time they get to the turn. For sure, Winked.
A notable other thing, she has won going 4 furlongs here at the Big T. She broke her maiden doing that a year ago, just almost exactly a year ago today, August 28th of last year. This one I kind of think might sit just off the pace. It may not be on the lead.
Right,
but
she doesn't have to have the lead. I've seen him make a move. Other than the sloppy track race, she has a tendency to kind of wait a little bit. That's my main concern.
Right.
But she runs back fresh to her best. I think she'll be tough to hold out.
I agree with that. We're both using Poggy Bonsi, the 1 horse, and Awesome View, the 3 underneath, Dave.
Yeah, Pudgy Bonsi's done very little wrong. And then 7 furlongs a little too far for her last time out. but she has enough zip to win a couple of races at 5.5 Crosstown at Laurel, posting decent numbers that would be good enough here. McGee Barn is hot, so I think, at some point they may try to send with her here out of the starting gate in Poggi Bonsi from that inside gate in Axel.
Yeah, no, I that's kind of how I was scoping this out. I think they may be sending from the rail Axel Concepcion, who finished the Laurel meet with a flourish, including his first career stakes win. So that was kind of neat to see. Awesome View. Awesome View's just, she's a mare that just keeps running pretty good races over and over.
Yeah, a little short rest for her, right? August 18th at Laurel, coming back at the Big T. Drifted a little bit late in that race. A Willful Desire, the winner, but 2 races back. Ran behind My Flicker. Very honest, consistent kind of mare, and got a decent number off of that too. So she's going to be a factor in here. I don't see her quite as fast as maybe early as Poggi Bonsi nor Winked. So maybe they're going to try to get her to close a bit into the pace.
Yeah, she. One notable thing, Mario Serret, the trainer, does like to do this kind of short rest routine that he's doing with this horse. So
yeah, he runs them back quick. I mean, he had a great meet here last year. Off hard to tell after one day, but horses didn't really fire yesterday.
Right.
But maybe this is the one to get him going.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's the 4th, the optional A other than. The 5th, another maiden claimer. These are maiden $45,000. 2-year-old fillies. This one's going 6.5 furlongs, and we're similar-ish, Dave. But you're gonna go with Matoli Candy. Matoli already one of the top freshman sires.
8 2-year-old winners for Matoli, who, as we know, is very fast. Won Preakness Week at Pimlico, won various sprinting was his game, and so you would expect his offspring to have a lot of early speed. She didn't have it first time out, finishing 4th, kind of even paced it around there, then out finish for 3rd. But the blinkers going on today for Anthony Ferrier in the Boca Chica combination. I expect her, if she has any early speed, she'll show it today, adding the blinkers on.
I was slightly concerned. I think that this ought to be a better group than the group she saw as State Bred Maiden Specials at CT last time. And so that gave me slight pause. I mean, I'm using her underneath, but I ended up on Buckin' Lucky, who is the sort of horse I don't usually use because she's had 4 cracks at it and is 0 for 4, keeps running pretty good races. But I ended up deciding to bite the bullet one more time on Buckin' Lucky, who's probably going to be the favorite.
Well,
here.
She's got some foundation under her, right? A 5-ace race, a 7-ace race. Matoli Candy coming off a 1 run at 4.5,
right,
trying to stretch to 6.5. But again, with those blinkers on, if she has any ability, Matoli Candy, it should come through today. Buckin' Lucky, this is a family show. It's Buckin' Lucky from the Jerry Robb barn. 3rd last time out behind MSA, who was, I believe, the favorite in the race. Just kind of even paced. And actually, I loved a horse in that race, Viennese Waltz, who I thought was a mortal lock.
Right.
And she had her head in there the whole way. Maybe they'll come back with blinkers next time out. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. Nod, nod. So Viennese Waltz. I thought Viennese Waltz was a better horse, and she just kind of even paced in the 3rd and beat Viennese Waltz. So for what that's worth.
So as an announcer, how much do you hate the name Buckin' Lucky?
Well, not as much as when Buckin' Lucky and Buckin' Great
faced
were
off
in the
against
same
each
race.
other. One last horse I do want to just point out here is Foxy Curl. This one was very fractious prior to her debut race back on July 22nd. In fact, unseated the rider prior to the race. Ran up a little bit close to the pace early, tired, which often happens to horses in their first start that have been fractious and unseating the rider. So inclined to give a second crack there.
Good note there by Frank, who went back to read that chart. I had that right. Unseated, because the short comment was they don't have time to put everything in there. The space is fractious 4 wide move. Horse unseated the rider, leaving the paddock. So just a little bit nervous going to the gate. But the winner of that race, Remember Me, came back next start to improve her buyer number by 12 points next time out. Remember Me. So that's a positive sign for that race. And we'll see if she comes out with a positive attitude today in the post parade. Might be something worth noting.
All right, that's 5417 for me, 1534 for Dave Rodman. Race 6, we got some old hard knockers here in this. This is a 5,000 starter allowance going a mile and 16, 3 turns at the Big T. I think everybody's still in this contest,
and this is the kind of race it is: 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 3, 9, 1. Right? That's really this.
There's a lot of ways to go in here, no question about it.
I mean, with a 9-horse field, this could be a great race to,
spread.
Break out your old Exacta box in here and hope for the big prices.
Yeah. Now, tell me, you land on Hot and Spicy Love, 12-1 morning line, so going to light up the tote board. Is this a Dog Figs play or what?
Well,
what else
from way back. I mean, the Laurel race, the starter allowance back in April, I think is good. And beat Sicilian Mike that day, right?
Yeah.
Has been kind of off the grid lately with Annalise Houdini beating him and Albertano beating him. But he has tremendous ability, as you can see, 18 lifetime wins.
Right.
The 8-year-old.
We have some sound in our background, but we plow forward here.
Just a minor distraction.
I used Annalise Houdini on top here, the 2-horse. This is an old class horse. He was a stakes quality animal early in his career. He's 7 years old now. He's not that horse anymore, but it felt like maybe his last 2 starts a little bit positive. He ran second, bumped back in the starter company, ran second again, the charge to victory, who had won 3 straight against starter allowance company. Feel like this horse may still have a little more in the tank to get back to.
Yeah, a couple of seconds, last 2 out. You look at his pattern, lifetime, 10 seconds from 42 starts. Positive is 2 races back. He was favored off that second place finish behind Mundo Mix, who has been climbing the ladder at Monmouth and came back with a big number after that win on July 15th. Perhaps the reason that he was favored. He's the kind of horse, kind of like Hot and Spicy Love, won't be up front, but has a good closing kick, and he's beaten some good fields before. I mean, he was second in the Jennings behind Millionaire Cord Maker. He beat Galerio in that race. He was sandwiched between a couple of really nice stakes runners there back in January of 2022. So 7-year-old here, 8-year-old for me, Hot and Spicy Love. On any given day, they can remember the horse they were.
Exactly right. All right, we are going to be bumping up against time limits shortly, so let's plow forward. 7th race is another first level allowance optional claiming event. This one for fillies and mares going 6.5 furlongs. And again, Dave, we just aren't quite seeing eye to eye here. We're not totally against each other, but I landed on Jose Corrales, Willful Desire, Barbosa in the irons. You go with Jackson's Dixie.
Willful Desire, Tamchar, just to his inside 2 posts in. Baby Man, Early Speed. I'm thinking at 6.5 we might finally see a pace meltdown a bit. And here comes Jackson's Dixie with a late run at a big price for David Howard, already a winner here at the meet yesterday. This horse has been kind of a surprise, not only to the bettors, maybe to him. Broke his maiden first time out last year as a 2-year-old for 12.5 at 44-1. Laid him up to spring, comes off the layoff at 29-1 against $20,000 types and wins. Then steps up against a horse named Our Liberty Bell, and look at the pace, past performance lines in there. Liquidator, the sharp Linda Albert filly as well.
And then comes back I think 2 races later and runs second in the Miss Disco beat ahead.
Yes, right, yeah, wow, I remember that was a good race too.
Yeah, she ran huge.
So I'm just hoping for a pace meltdown. That may not happen, but dreams are dreams.
Dreams are dreams. I like it. Anything else you want to say about the 7th?
I just thought the 6th race is open, the 7th race is open, and just hoping for a pace meltdown. And the Willful Desire, we mentioned speed, Baby Man, speed, Tamchar. Interesting that the blinker's going on for Michael Gorham, 3rd off the claim for Tamchar, who ran behind a sharp Haleyby off the claim in allowance company back in the spring. Awful while adding the blinkers. It's not I don't. Well, at least she's never had blinkers in her last 12, 13 starts. I don't know about earlier in her career.
Right.
Forgot to check that out. But interesting that they're adding the blinkers on her, maybe to keep her more focused. She may be the speed to stick and stay with the blinkers on.
Yeah, I mean, Tamchar's a horse who she's had her moments. She's got some pretty good efforts that would win this race. So, be curious to see how the blinks on. I know Mike Gorham likes coming to the fair. He likes racing here. He likes to try to do well here. So, it should be something to keep an eye on. Let us get to the feature here, the 8th race, the $75,000 Timonium Distaff, 6.5 furlongs. Couple of scratches here. Let's take out the 2-horse Berzina, the 6 Self-Isolation, the 9 Volney, and the 11 Extra Crunchy. So that's going to get us down to a field of 7. But this is a really good field of 7. We got 2 $500,000 earners, a Kenny McPeak shipper. What say you, Dave?
Response time, Princess Cochin, we mentioned earlier in the show. They meet again. And with the scratches, I flipped my pick. Originally went 4-5. Now I'm going 5-4. And John Piasek, our colleague, kind of convinced me, if there's any time that she's going to carry her speed, maybe today at the Big T going 6.5. She's very quick up front. And with a few scratches out of there, some of the speed, with a good break, hopefully – she can nurse along. But response time, and she's a serious mare. 7-time winner, Princess Cochin, a 12-time winner. She's beaten Princess Cochin before at shorter distances on the chase, on the hard chase, and then finally wearing her down late.
Yeah, I landed, and like you, Dave, when Self-Isolation was in here, I thought there's going to be a really nice setup for response time. Now it does look like Princess Cochin loose on the lead. The question, as you referenced, is the distance. She has 6 furlongs, has generally in her career seemed like the very outer limit of what she can do. Now she's got another half furlong to navigate. We'll see how she does that. I do like response time. I mean, she was really good over the winter. Got a little bit off color there for a couple of starts, but I thought last out was very good. Her head was turned when the gates opened. She was out of the gate a little awkwardly. Still ran a really good race behind Beguine. Beguine, a very talented kind of up-and-coming filly. I'm hopeful that the half furlong of added ground and the tactical ability of response time is able to get it done here for Hammy Smith and Barbosa.
And let's not forget about the sneaky Gary Capuano barn, right,
yes,
with Malibu Beauty. She's a quality mare, 8-time winner, who actually her numbers, especially on that off track back at Delaware last year, really do stack up, at least in my figures, with response time and Princess Cochin. So if you're looking for an alternate play there, maybe to the favorite, then maybe Malibu Beauty.
She's a $500,000 earner. We got 2 $500,000 earners, her and Princess Cochin in this race. So I agree with you. I mean, on best, she's every bit as good as those others.
McPeak runner. I mean, she's best running Churchill from off the pace going long. So I wouldn't expect her to press Princess Cochin around the far turn. I mean, her best hope's going to be closing, picking it up,
coming running,
coming on. Right.
Correction. All right, that is our feature, the Timonium Distaff. Dave and I are more or less in the same place. I go 4-5-3. He goes 5-4-3. You pretty much put those 3 in a hat, shake it up, and pick the one that comes out. All right. Our finale, our nightcap tonight, 5,000 never win 2 claimers, going 6.5 furlongs. You want to take out the 2-horse in this one. Lightning Lad is coming out. Other than that, I think everybody's here, and we're kind of similar enough.
Yeah, well, Baby Quinn has that declining form. I reluctantly picked the Kieran McGee runner here and no further. Beaten favorite at Charlestown last out, was 4 wide around the far turn. When you do that at CT, it's a little rough go.
Yeah,
right?
no,
so I'm just hoping that maybe he can just tuck in right off with speed and save some ground and make one run. He did break his maiden Laurel back in May. against the so-so field. I was just seeing him run up to horses and kind of wait, evidenced by 5 second-place finishes. But I think maybe today's the day with a good trip. I don't think either one of those horses, the 5 or the 1, are going to offer any price value on the board.
No, one thing I just did want to say about the 1, Baby Quinn, first time in the Farrier barn here. Farrier wins at a 37% clip from 49 starts. First time with the trainer on the 50% or more drop. That's what he's doing here, and that's what kind of convinced me on this horse that I'm just going to draw a line through that last one.
Yeah, and I threw Thank You Pete in there from the turf back to the dirt, maybe part of the speed and can hang around. Thank You Pete, which reminds me, we have to do the fan of the day.
Fan of the day?
Pete Aiello's dog. The announcer at Gulfstream. Luna.
I know who Pete Aiello.
Yeah,
His
Luna.
dog is the fan of the day?
Absolutely. He's watching the races from home. So fan of the day gets a 1 pound bag of Merrick Organic dog treats.
You better be careful or I'll bring Bogey, the venerable black lab, out here to earn Timonium fan of the day.
Uh-oh. Dueling dogs.
He's 13, so,
Okay.
you know.
Oh, that's your dog.
That's
dog.
our dog,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He's a character.
You bringing him out? Yeah.
Well, you never know. If he could be fan of the day and get some more organic dog treats. He's a total first world dog. Like, he turns his nose up if the treats are not to his liking.
Really? Okay.
So.
Well, they're supposedly the best, I heard. No plug. We're not sponsored, but
So, yeah, well, maybe we're working on it.
we're working on it.
All right, Dave Rodman, that's going to do it here for today at the Big T. Any last thoughts as we head out?
No, confidence is high. Trust and confidence.
Trust and confidence. Trust in the dog figs. It's college day at the races. We welcome the equestrian group. Welcome all of you for coming out today. Timonium Distaff coming up, race 8. Dave and I will be back tomorrow morning, 11:25. Callie and John and Mackenzie will be with you in 15 minutes or so. That's going to do it for us. Frank Vespi, Dave Rodman. Good luck today, everybody.
Good luck.